Wow.
Yay.
Yeah, I've got some coaches in Michigan too.
Yes.
Nice.
It's ridiculous. Anyway.
What was I going to tell you? Oh, I'm very excited to do this because my girls are home today too. Because I knew we were doing this power hour. I just after I did my morning stuff, gave myself permission to just be a mom. Because I'm like, I'll crush this hour with you guys.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Dawn, really quick before Jenny starts this too.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people have been struggling. Jenny can weigh into, it looks like Jenny already started recording, so that's okay. Because then this can go for them too. I think a lot of people have been struggling with tracking. So we'll start fresh. Like I just broke out a new business activity tracker sheet.
Yeah.
Last week, there were lots of boxes that weren't filled in because like some days I do activities and some days I don't. So I
Right.
stopped letting myself get so stressed out about the boxes and more just like making sure I'm doing some of the business activities that are going to move me more forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anywho, Jenny, sorry.
No, you're fine. I actually just told my team last night because they have mentioned the same thing. That for me, like I have a different focus every week. So the first week of the month, I focus on just hitting my own success club. So I do the activities that are on the tracker, and bonus activities, I guess you could say, based on what I'm doing to hit that goal. Mm-hmm. And then the second week, my focus is on recruiting coaches. And so like last night, our team call was on Power Pockets, like how to work your business in Power Pockets. And so I told them, if I think a lot of times they think in their head that they have to complete the business activity tracker in their power hour or in their power half hour. So if they wind up not having a half hour or an hour, they just don't do it at all. Right. Like they just kind of give up. Mm-hmm. I said, what if you changed your mentality and said, okay, I have 15 minutes here on my lunch hour, or I have, 20 minutes. What is the most important thing to do? If your focus for week 1 of the month is Success Club, then obviously in that 20 minutes, you're going to be reaching out to, connect with people and invite. Second week, if your focus is on recruiting, maybe that's the week you're going to be focused on. You have an extra 15 minutes. You're focused on sending invitations to your sneak peek or whatever. So rather than stress out about hitting all the different tasks each and every day, making sure that you're doing all the tasks, but maybe have a different focus each week, that might help you work more in Power Pockets. Does that make sense at all? Did I word that right? Okay.
I love it. I know Dawn can understand that completely because of being a teacher as well. Mm-hmm. And she has 4 kiddos that a lot of them are at different places with sports and activities and needs. And she's mm-hmm. really good at working in pockets of time. But I think you're right. It's very easy to get discouraged. Even if you're putting, like, I'll just say this so everyone can catch it on the recording. I haven't signed up a coach this month, but I reached out to and was more intentional than I have ever probably been in a month because I actually tracked it. I tried new things. I was looking at my numbers, and because I knew that I was going to fill in how many people I was inviting to the coach opportunity, it kept me accountable. But that's a victory in itself. It's hard to sometimes put a 0 when you're like, man, like I wish something would have shown up, but it's going to be a compound effect. So I'm like, what if I worked as hard as I did in January on some of those areas and did it for every month of this year, regardless of circumstance? What if I just saw what I could actually do if I stuck with the coach invite? So that's my focus right now. And I think next week it's going to be huge. We're going to start opening up like the month of February with a focus on inviting to the coach opportunity. I think we're going to see so many breakthroughs.
For sure.
So, all right, Jenny, I don't know. Do you have
I have a few coaches that are hopping on late, and that's totally fine. We can go ahead and start. Okay. We are recording. So what I wanted to do was actually and I know my coaches are going to be like, you just said this last night, but for everybody to hear this. I think it's important when we sit down to work our business, whether it's for 15 minutes or for an hour, to kick off with kind of setting our mind right. If we sit down and we feel like stressed out that we have to invite people, or we don't know where to start, we don't know who we're talking to, we don't have, we don't feel confident because maybe we just got in a fight with our spouse, or we just had a, win late all morning, whatever, we're kind of in that bad frame of mind, then it kind of carries over into the conversations that we have. So what I thought we would do is I thought I would just share my screen, have a 3-minute like motivational video, pardon the cheesiness, but this is something that I do every single morning. I made it an initiative for this year. I used to just listen to a podcast in the morning, and now I'm like, I think I really could just benefit from like a 3 to 5 minute Eric Thomas, like motivational pep session. So we're going to kick it off with that just to kind of get us in the right frame of mind. It is the last day of January. So I know a lot of people are still shooting for Success Club. If you've already hit Success Club, maybe you're still shooting to sign a coach or 2 this month. So we still all have goals that we're reaching for. And like I said in a post this week, it's important that we work till the bell, right? We have until midnight tonight to secure that. There's definitely no reason. Jackie's sitting here on the call with her toddler. She just went from Success Club 0 to Success Club 6 in 48 hours in the last few days of the month. So it's totally possible to do. And so I figured this is how we'll kick it off, and then we'll just dive straight into invites. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. And we'll go from there.
Success, guys, a very, very lonely road, man. Along that road, you're not going to see too many friends. You're going to see your shadow most often. See, the thing is, for many people, they've tried the same path you're on, and they failed. You don't burn out mentally because you always burn out physically. You got to trust in the heart of hearts inside what you're doing, what you believe in is a worthy cause, winnable fight. If you allow it to sit, it will grow roots and start breaking you down, destroying the potential of the person you can be. The champions, guys, it's not the potential, it's not their genetics. It's a person who always show up. What I'm saying is the character of who you are. It's not the title that makes you, it's not the success that makes you. The character defines the success, defines the fame, and it starts right there. It's how you look at something. If your name's attached to it, and you do it right, the best of your ability every single time. Championships aren't won in the theater or the arena. They're won in the thousands of hours in the training room, in the labs, in the 5 a.m. runs, and it's training, when everyone else is sleeping. That's when it's won. The heart of a champion is a light switch that's always on. It doesn't go on and off when someone's watching. It's constant. Fear is self-imposed. Meaning it doesn't exist. You create it, you can destroy it too. I love fear. The reason why? Every fear is a person you want to be. What's what you want to be? Honestly, your fears, you're alive. You're not taking it for freedom. If you face your fears, guys, your fear is destroyed. It comes back in its confidence. What else am I capable of? What else am I holding my back from? I'm capable of. What am I running from? I don't need to. What else can I overcome? You walk this journey, you must know that it's going to go down before it comes up. When it comes up, it's going to go so much higher than that. Yes, right now is going to look good. Between a winner and a loser, this is the winner gets back up. It does it again. It does it again. Until it goes his way. Sacrifices made to one day. Something in the near future, relative future, that gives value to today. You're all going out in life. The question is, who gets back up? You go after it. You give it all you have. If you lose, at least you try, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena? You've hit the wall someplace. You look in the mirror too many times and haven't smiled. You want to change the situation. Move from where you are. And you do it right. The best of your ability every single time. That's the same person who has his hand raised on the podium one day. And it's hard. It's an uphill battle. It's a path less taken. That's what creates a champion.
Okay, cool. So what I like about doing that in the morning is, I don't know about you guys, but it makes me want to do like the quarter force warm up, like where you like bounce back and forth and you're like ready to go in the ring. But really, honestly, it's so true, right? Like Brendon Burchard talks about transitions. Like when we leave our full-time job and we walk in the door for the first time since the morning, and our kids and our spouse are there, having that 1 or 2 minute transition before we start, you know, in our next role is, I think, so important. So I wanted to kick off with that. Pardon the cheesiness of it, but for me, it gives me kind of some goosebumps, and it gets me kind of in the right frame of mind to really go out and add value to people and have conversations. So what I wanted to do is keep this really simple. I wanted to do 20 minutes of connects and invites, and then 20 minutes of follow-ups. So we're going to keep it really simple. This is a call for accountability. So hopefully you're working from a list. Hopefully you've got people you've been connecting with. But we're just going to set the timer for 20 minutes. We're going to dive straight into connections and invites. If you guys have any questions, you can unmute yourself. Otherwise, let's go. I'll play some music. How about that?
And all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for your mind. It's moving, don't get walking better. Now can't you see getting closer? Surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's falling open. It's a picture in the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking in the every wall is holding on. Maybe you're holding us. Where it's
eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me that I call mine. Through the dark, through the door, you were no one's before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I'm lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build, every room inside is filled into far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day.
Bless you.
It all sounds crazy. They can say we lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design.
Every night I lie in bed, brightest colors fill my head. Million dreams keeping me awake. I see what the world could be. All the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams. You may be right, you may be wrong. See that you're crazy. To the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. I am there.
Million dreams, million dreams. I think I want the world could be. A vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
The world we're gonna make.
You stumble through the days. Zombie enemies, you're asleep inside. You can shade away. You've walking. Back your thoughts. How far from me to find. so bright, to the sky, and it's all red white. Let's fight. The world becomes a fantasy, and you're more than you could ever be. Dream with your eyes wide open. You know you can't go back again to the world that you will never dream with your eyes wide open. So come alive. See it in your eyes. You believe that life that you need to hide your face. Break the steps outside. Lock the door. Don't you stay that way. Somebody in your shadow. Maybe you don't have shadows. Once you skip low, you'll never feel the same. You can move it for you. Not be afraid. Right here, right now, I put my forever. Come on, it's your see it, you will. And I think I'm free out of the doing all you can. So take it to go, it's something powerful. Crazy, live a little crazy. Play it and fall, ain't nothing that you want. Now that's a deal that seems worth taking. Well, it's intriguing. Oh, it cost me greatly. So, what percentage of the show would I be taking? Fair enough. You'd want a piece of all the action. I'd give you 7. We could shake and make it happen. I wasn't born this morning. 18 would be just fine. Why not just go ahead and ask for the old trying to die? 15. I do 8, 12, maybe not. Watching on the way, 'cause I got what you need to call me and think about it.
I'm trying to hold my breath, let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. You said getting louder now. Can you hear the take my hand? Will you share this with me? 'Cause darling, without you, all the shine, the thousand spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. How close to little these hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough, never be enough for me. Never, 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 never for me.
All right, y'all. Looks like we're coming up on our 20-minute mark here for connects and invites. So maybe wrap up where you are right now. And then we will go ahead and transition into 20 minutes of follow-ups. So in my opinion, the next 20 minutes should be focused on really those, what I would consider hot prospects, those people who you've already dropped an invitation to. Now it's time to circle back to them, maybe offer an incentive or whatever the case is for you, wherever you're at in the month of January. So we're going to set the timer here and then we'll wrap it up after this with just a few minutes of Q&A. So here we go.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. And to be ashamed of my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them take it down because I know that there's a place for us. Never love you. am brave, I am true, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. My spirit, the fire
Give me some more. I'm gonna send a bird, gonna drown mine. This is brave, this is proof, this is who I'm. This is
You know I want you. It's not a secret I try to hide. I know you want me, so don't stay in my hands tied. Blame not in the cards, fate is pulling you miles away and out of reach from me. But you're here in my heart, so who can stop me if I decide that you're my destiny? What if we are the stars? Say you were made to be mine. Nothing could keep us apart. You'd be the one I was meant to find. It's up to you, and it's up to me. No one can say what we get to be. So why don't we reach the stars? Maybe the world could be ours tonight.
think it's easy. Something come up to you. There are mountains. There are doors that we can walk through. I know you wonder why, because we're able to be in these walls. We go inside, but awake up and see that it was hopeless. Am I too long? No one can rewrite the stars. How can you say you're mine? Everything keeps us apart. And I'm not the one you were meant to be. I want you. It's not a secret I tried to hide, but I can't have you. I'm breaking my hands are tied. Some people long for a life that is simple and planned, tied with a ribbon. Some people won't sail the sea, 'cause they're safer on land. To follow what's written, but I'd follow you to rain on off to a world we call our own. Hand in my hand, and we promise to never let go. We're walking a tightrope high in the sky. We can see the whole world down below. We're walking a tightrope. Never sure, never know how far we could fall. But a fallen adventure becomes with a breathtaking view. Walking a tightrope with you. Oh, 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 oh. With you. Oh, 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 ooh, with you. Mountains and valleys and all that will come in between. Desert and ocean, you pulled me in, and together we lost in a dream. Always in motion, so I risk it all just to be with you. And I risk it all for this life we choose. And my heart, and you promise to never let go. We're walking tightrope in the sky. We can see the whole world. We're walking a tightrope. Never try to wait to me. On an adventure, hung to the breathtaking view. Walking tightrope. Oh, 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 oh. With you.
Okay, I feel like we need to we have 8 minutes left of this, so we need to just change our music up.
We run this mother. Yeah. We run this mother. Yeah. We run this mother. Yeah. We run this mother. We'll run the world. We'll run the world. We'll run the world. We'll run the world. Some of them they go back. She's just a girl and she's on fire. Hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire. Feeling the catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, she got her head in the clouds and she's not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Looks like a girl, but she's a flame. So bright she can burn your eyes. Look the other way. You can try, but you'll never forget her name. She's on top of the world. Hottest of the hottest girls say, oh, we got our feet on the ground, and we're burning it down. Oh, got our head in the clouds, and we're not coming down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Everybody's dancing, she goes by. You see the flame that's in her eyes. Watch her when she's lighting up the night. But nobody knows that she's a lonely girl. And it's a lonely world. But she's gonna let it burn, baby, burn, baby. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. She's just a girl and she's on fire. I hopped off the plane at LAX, so we could dream of a cardigan. Go up to the land of fame and sex, and my competition. Up in the cab, here I am for the first time. Far right, never see the holiday time. It's all so crazy. Everybody's so famous. Down, I'm so big, so sure I'm nervous. Next another radio, and it gave me some blood. Gave me some blood. Gave me some blood. So my hands are playing my phone. I fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. My hands up to play my song. You know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. It's a party in the USA. Get to the club in my taxi cab. Everybody's looking at me now. Like, who's that chick that's rocking kicks? Gotta keep them out of town. So hard, girls under me. I'm gonna see my after party. All I see is letters. I'm sitting in the middle of the service.
Okay, sorry we went like a minute over. I was wrapping something up. How do you guys feel after that? Good? You feel like you got a lot done? Jackie, I saw your message, I think, later after you posted it. It made me laugh.
I totally forgot again. I was like, why is Jenny talking? What's going on?
Why do I hear Jenny's voice right now? I know, I get in that habit too.
The screen disappears and anyway.
Awesome. Okay, so I figured there was really no point in having allocated time on the hustle hour for social media content. I figured you guys could handle that on your own time. So does anybody have any questions about anything or need any help with any particular conversations that they have going on? Anything that we can address? You guys did hop on here live before we close it. Negative?
Jenny,
Yeah.
I think, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think one of the probably most profound things that we discussed over the last 2 weeks, you and I, was I had sent Jenny a message when we were filling out our Google trackers. And I'm like, Jenny, when you have connects on here, do you mean like invites or connects? And she was like, well, they're like the same thing. And I'm like, oh, like they're two different categories for me. Like an invite is me inviting to a challenge group experience or maybe like a launch that we're doing. And I was looking at connects more as new people we've added to our contacts or someone we're commenting on their Instagram feed or Facebook feed, or even just like connects are like the initial reach out that I do once I become friends with someone. So I had them in two different categories, and Jenny had shared that she kind of considers, you know, all of that is like conversation. But it also made us realize that we want to make sure that we're being intentional in both of those areas. So I have found myself being much more intentional, trying to spend time on social media, not mindlessly scrolling, but the people who I really want to connect and build more of a relationship with. And obviously it's hard when you don't see people face to face. You have to get involved in some of their stuff that they're doing on their page and know what they're doing. But then I also think there's a lot of value in what I shared yesterday with doing cold invites. And again, they're really kind of warm market invites, because if they're your Facebook friend already, then people know what we do. If we're actually doing a good job showing, you know, our journey, what our challenge groups are doing, testimonials, and we really can develop that consistently, I don't think it will come as big of a surprise. But what I do know, one last thing I will say, with some new coaches, I know that I would get people that would say, well, Natalie, I'm sharing all the same things that you're doing. I'm like sharing my workout selfie or this and that. And no one's responding to any of my messages. I think there has to be a consistency over time where you build a social media credibility. Like there's some people that just, if they're a brand new coach, people don't really know just because they signed up as a coach, all of a sudden they're on this journey. So I think it's so important that we're like taking people along regularly, consistently.
Yeah.
And I'll also say it's the same thing I shared with my team this week about coaching. Just because all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm ready to like build my team more and like go find those people, doesn't mean that they're all like waiting with open arms. Like, oh, Natalie, that's so great. You shared a really, heartfelt coach post. It doesn't mean that they're immediately going to connect with me on coaching, but at least I'm being more brave and sharing about what I'm doing as a coach more frequently than I have in the past. So I just think it's so easy to start some behaviors, do them for a couple weeks, and then be like, well, see, that didn't work because no one's coming to me yet. But it's got to be something that we do as second nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just messaging a girl, and I was like, what do you do? You're like traveling all over the world and jumping off of waterfalls and all this stuff. She's like, I'm a bartender. Like, I could not tell by looking at her stuff anything about her life other than that she wears a lot of thong bikinis. But I feel like people make assumptions about our lives based on what they see, and if we're not sharing that we're coaches, that no one will know about it. Like people can't just guess. They don't know. I don't know to ask her about bartending. I mean, I do now, but if I had a bartending question, I wouldn't know to direct it to her.
Right. So true.
Yep. Actually, that's a really good point to ask ourselves, that when, like, I would say people knew I was on a health and fitness journey because I would share a lot about just health, but would people actually think we are coaches that are regularly helping people get results? Like Jenny said the other day, not all of our social media needs to be focused on us individually. It's got to be more about the people we're working with and the team that we have. And even if we only have like one coach right now, there's people that have just one coach underneath them, it's still a team, and you still have to portray like what you are seeking. And I don't think there's anything fake about that either. Some people are like, well, I don't have like a big team yet, so how am I supposed to do that? There's still so many powerful things that you can share, like these types of virtual hangouts and team calls and your challenge group experiences and just all of that, Super Saturdays, all of it.
Yeah, I just posted on my page today about my sleepover this weekend. I'm super excited.
It's so awesome.
But
But
yeah, I
that's
think,
what people are looking for.
yeah, I mean, I told my team last night that I'm totally expecting them to wear homebody chic apparel for the sleepover Saturday night. And as silly as that sounds, like they all laughed and chuckled and connected, right? All 16 of them or 18 of them. And so it made me realize like that's something that I need to be talking about, right? I saw Katie, you made a post like that too. So those sort of weird things about you, like the weird things about your tribe are things to be sharing. Not weird, but unique things.
Mm-hmm.
But also I tell my coaches, and I think we mentioned this on last week's Power Hour too, be talking about what working Jackie does. What does working Natalie do? What does working Sarah do? We know you work out. We know you drink a shake. We know you meal prep, right? And we know that most likely you can help us do that. Like if I'm an outsider. But do we know that if I wanted to build a side hustle or a side business or whatever, that I can come to you? We need to know what working Natalie or working Jackie or working Katie looks like. So I think that's.
You want to see what she looks like today?
I almost didn't turn my video on. I did Cardio Fix this morning and I smell bad. So,
I don't know how to, I don't have internet right now. And I don't know how to switch pictures. So you get past Katie when I look like a rock star. And as I was reading the Tribe Called Bliss today, and she was talking about assumptions that we make, or people might be afraid to like meet up with us because they created this scenario in their head. And I feel like sharing about homebody chic is like helps people know like, hey, when you hang out with us, our expectation for you is to be comfortable. And you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that helps people, like what they assume about us meeting as coaches and, having our leadership retreat, maybe they built up some idea that's completely different. So then when we show that we can hang loose and drink a margarita in our yoga pants, like that might like, oh, okay, maybe I do want to hang out with these people.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because I called, I'm going to have some Mexican food Saturday night. So I called this restaurant to order it. And I was talking to the lady this morning, and it's so funny because I get this across the board. Like this has been my life for like 10 years. But when I was talking to her, she started instantly talking about like, I forget what it was she was trying to sell me on, some sort of like queso brisket, something or other. And I was like, well, that sounds awesome. But I was like, all these women that are coming Saturday night we're all health and fitness coaches. And she was like, oh, you're all personal trainers. And I was like, well, I said health and fitness coaches, but it's pretty similar. And she was like, oh, she's like, well, we have a pineapple slaw bowl that's really popular with sort of the health conscious crowd. Right. And it's funny because like, she just made the assumption that like, we would never eat the queso brisket thing. That's not true. I would eat the brisket. Right. And it's the same thing for people that perceive our business. Like they think that we are living to some standard that's completely out of their reach or out of their ability to do so. So if we can sort of show that vulnerability, often and try to connect with them on that level, I think that's where we can cross that barrier.
Well, it's like the posts where like I had a photo shoot that I took some lifestyle pictures like for my website, but and with my girls, but the average day is this. Like at our computer, like messy buns, everyone, rocking your glasses. And even when we're all getting on team calls, like if I have one that like, I don't know, when we used to do sneak peeks, I would like look professional. I would shower, get ready, because I knew we were recording it and going to send it out to people. Mm-hmm. But when it's your team, most of our calls were in like sweats and our kids are crawling all over us, or, someone's like yelling across the room, or someone's dog is like acting crazy. So I think you're right. People think that we're like dressed to impress, but that's the beauty of it is, but you're right. People don't know that because they see.
I don't think anybody thinks I dress to impress, just to throw it out there. I've been in the same hoodie on the last 10 calls, I realized too. I was pregnant when we got it, and so now it fits and I can't take it off.
But Jackie, you bring up like, you guys are actually bringing up a really good point because, how do I say, I have to keep myself
Take a breath first, Natalie.
Okay, deep breath. Some of the coaches I've worked with before that on my team, extended team, it's like, I just realized like all of the photos that we were always trying to show was, everyone was always dressed up. But I do love getting dressed up for like a Beachbody VIP party or something. It is, you want people to see that you're not also just in your sweats all the time and that it's fun to get dressed up and feel confident. But it is almost implying that like you have to have skinny jeans and leopard heels
and fashion glasses
that
aren't actually prescription,
that are not prescription,
just because everybody
to
else
actually be chic.
Right.
My chic is I showered today.
Right.
I like it. Sometimes just deodorant's chic.
It's true.
Body Electric chic is
showering,
deodorant and dry shampoo.
Right.
I'm making a post about that right now. Showering is my chic.
It's funny. Colin was doing laundry the other day, and I was like, "How the heck do I have so many clothes? Like, I've worn the same outfit literally every day for a week." I was like, "How are there this many clothes?" And it ended up being all workout clothes. But I was just like, "Seriously?"
I know.
I will say, I found it interesting. I put in my stories like yesterday, just to like, did you ever wonder what I do as a coach? And I put just some words of different things that I do. And then I had a poll, like, does that help? Yes, or clear as mud. And I had 2 girls say yes. And I had 4 guys answer who've never interacted with my stories before. I know them all, but never interacted, who said like clear as mud. So I was like, well, it's just interesting that even like me explaining it doesn't make sense. So I'm just trying to think through, okay, how else can I better explain what I do? Because what I did clearly didn't work. So I don't know. I've just been thinking through that a little bit today. I did a little bit just talking on stories this morning about like what my virtual gym is, what that actually means. So I'm just still thinking through like how to better explain it, but it was kind of eye-opening to me. I was like, what do you mean that doesn't make sense?
Right. Okay. So I don't want to like turn this into a one-on-one mentoring call, but I am going to say this really quick.
Yes.
You have your virtual gym inviting game is strong, right? Like you just went from 0 to 6, like you have people interested, you're having those conversations. You also have a boatload of coaches, but you don't have emeralds. So you don't have working coaches. So you're like this diamond that's only like 2 inches below dirt. Like that's kind of how I see you. You know what I mean? And so all you have to do is just be like, you know what? Like I need to start seeking out the people who want this business. And this is actually, Natalie and I spent like 2 hours this week talking about this. We talked about the different pain points that people have, right? So you have nailed down what those pain points are for challengers. And that is why you crush Success Club. And that's why you're able to reach out to people and invite and connect. But since you don't have the working coaches, you haven't quite made that breakthrough yet in that regard. So what I would encourage you to think about is, what are the different pain points of people who could potentially be in a position to really be able to use this business to their advantage. And I think those pain points, as much as we do like to say sometimes that it's income focused, it's kind of 50-50. Like some coaches come in, not solely for the income ever. I don't ever see people come in solely for the income, but some people are interested in the income and they're attracted to graphics about our income or whatever. But most people are attracted to other pain points. For me, I was looking for fulfillment. That's how I'm shifting my marketing when it comes to recruiting for the next couple months. Like I'm looking for people, women especially, who are looking for fulfillment. When I was working my corporate job, I felt like I wasn't getting any recognition. I felt like I was just showing up every day and nobody even knew if I was there. I felt like I wasn't making a difference. I was just doing my job and earning a paycheck. And so for me, there was this sort of purpose that I was looking for and recognition. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was also very isolated. So I felt like I needed a community. So those are the things that we can be talking about. So it's show yourself as working Jackie, but also show those pieces like that can really connect with people's pain points.
That's super helpful because that gets my mind going a lot more than what I do as a coach. like
Right.
what I'm doing right now.
Right. So in what I would think, like, I think the other day, Natalie and I named like 5 primary pain points when it comes to, you know, I mean, we think about like stay-at-home moms who are feeling isolated, who are looking for the community and some sort of fulfillment. If you guys read my post that I made today about the sleepover and everything, I tried to draw attention to fulfillment. Like I tried to draw attention to the fact that these things excite me and I run this online business and it brings me this sort of joy that I wouldn't otherwise have. I love being Ellery's mom, and I said that in the post. I love being Ellery's mom, but for me, I need something in addition to that. Like I need some sort of individual purpose. And so that's going to be my messaging when it comes to talking about the business. At least that's in my mind right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to hop off here because I had hydrate, recover, a shake, and coffee. I've already run to the bathroom like twice, but I'm going to end the recording. If anybody has any questions, let me know. But we are in the final, 8-9 hours of the day of the month. So there's no reason we can't all be shooting for Success Club 10. We can't be shooting for more coaches on our team, right? Like wherever you end the month is where you set your bar, right? And so set your bar higher than what you had anticipated setting it, and let's make it happen. So I'll post the recording as soon as it uploads for everybody else. But thank you guys so much for hopping on here live. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thanks,
See you guys.
Jenny. Bye, guys. Bye, Dawn.